You saw it right there. Punting is winning.
Yeah. We should all start with the Tory Taylor, the fist. MJ did the fist game, 198. Taylor did it today, 2-2. Never felt so good.
Let's go.
You guys laughed. The fourth rounder, and he just gave you a win. Right there.
Of course.
Victory. Worth the victory right there.
Hoge's trying to turn this great Bears win into a win of his own to start the show.
Yeah.
I would like to protest that.
Does that sound like somebody we know, Adam?
Yeah. Says the guy who's taking the L right now, huh?
Yeah.
Listen. I tried on the pregame show to say the season wasn't on the line, and it wasn't. But at points today, it sort of felt like it was.
Yeah.
To come back and have an ugly first half, but somehow have the lead, and then to get it done and have the quarterback make positive steps, have the run game make positive steps, have Shane Waldron make positive steps. A lot of good stuff out there. You make positive steps. Greg Bragg's freaking out the whole game like your life was going to end.
Bragg, we're going to get to that. Braggs was having a rough go of it.
That
for
felt
about
good.
3
I need
quarters.
a smoke.
Yeah.
Can I smoke a cigar in here?
No, you cannot.
Maybe. By the way, shout out to Neon Gardens who came through.
Neon.
Neon Gardens brought in the food today for us here at CHGO. They were awesome. You should go check them out. 2576 North Lincoln Avenue in Lincoln Park. That's right at that corner of Lincoln, Wrightwood, Sheffield. They opened in July. They have a Bears pop-up outdoor patio for every Bears game. Pizza apps, Bears-themed cocktails. We should have some of those right now. Bears decor and more. And you can check out their Facebook page. Instagram is Neon Garden Chicago. Food was unbelievable.
Thank you, Neon.
As were Tory Taylor's punts today.
It's interesting, too, as Hoge, now 17th time, is now throw that out there. Before you salute the free agent running back who's had a rough go of it, DeAndre Swift. Let's give him his flowers here. The guy was all over the field, 93 yards on the ground, 5.8 a carry. And he also led the Bears in receiving yards with 72.
Well, Hoagie can't get us to your instant reaction because we have a ton to say, and I got to hear it.
Thank you, Greg. 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 Thank you, Greg.
I tee up the instant reaction.
Well, we were waiting
for you for about 3 minutes.
I know because you did your whole thing. I had to jump that, and then now, Hoge, please give us your Adam Hoge.
We're not used to winning.
Adam Hoge, Bears beat the Rams 24-18, back to 500, season alive, instant reaction.
Well, I said on the pregame show.
No, it doesn't work. Okay.
I said on the pregame show, what matters most is that we could not be talking about the offensive coordinator and all the problems on the postgame show. Well, I'm still going to lean with the OC, but for good reason. It definitely wasn't perfect, but we saw signs of progress and a guy that corrected mistakes from last week. We were all a little confused pregame why Kari Blasingame, your fullback, was inactive when he was healthy. Well, we found out why. Bears ended up at the 1-yard line again. And what did they do? The exact opposite of that crap they did last week. It was beautiful, guys. It was beautiful. 23 personnel. And one of the two backs, your backup center, lining up at fullback, and they did it again late in the game when they had to convert on the 3rd and short. They went back to the fullback. Doug Kramer out of Illinois, your backup center, line them up in the backfield, get that extra block. They got it. Easy touchdown. And, oh, by the way, they corrected who the short yardage back should be. He even said it was Khalil Herbert. No, it's Roschon Johnson. They used Roschon Johnson today. Got the touchdown, got the first down when they needed it late. And there were a bunch of other things, too. There were some better calls, more things that made sense throughout the game. Again, it wasn't perfect, but there were plenty of times in this football game where I was actually applauding Shane Waldron And it's just good to see the corrections from last week, because last week was a disaster and today was way better. So props. That was very important.
Yeah. And listen, in the pregame, I was saying the one thing that we all wanted to see. Well, you said Shane, then I went to the goal line, and to do what they did. Doug Kramer, welcome to the NFL, my friend. It was great to see him on the field. It was great at the very end of the game when he took off his helmet and was drinking the water. Just looked like one of the more physical guys out there, even though we've always, he is undersized, but he's physical and he fit, and they needed a solution. They had to get more physical down there.
Doug Kramer or Andrew Billings, line them up.
Hey, I mean, he can move a little bit. We're not asking a ton. Go forward as hard as you can, and he's able to do it.
But I love it. I mean, if you're not gonna use a fullback or not be an offense that wants to use a fullback, which if that's the case, kind of sucks for Carr blessing game. But if that's the case, like, there are other ways to solve that problem, right? And we brought up on the pregame. I think our guy Gary Ross brought it up. You had the Chiefs last week use a linebacker as a fullback. I mean, that's a spot where we've seen in the past Matt Nagy use Akeem Hicks, actually give him the ball. You could do that too. I don't know if Doug Kramer can hold on to it, but maybe 3 weeks from now, all of a sudden you see Doug Kramer get a touchdown. Stuff like that.
Right.
There's no reason you can't try that stuff. To me, if we're going to call that gimmicky, that gimmick makes way more sense than speed option and having DeAndre Carter blocking the defensive end and all kinds of stuff that happened last week.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like, hey, Bears, welcome to the NFL regular season, right? I mean, this is what we expected when they came into the year, and they looked like a normal football team, not a perfect team, but a normal football team, not this, pathetic excuse of a team the first 3 weeks trying to fight and scratch and claw for the tiniest amount of yards. The first half, we thought we were going down that road, but the war of attrition hung out. And I'll say this also, because all of us have kind of been sitting on our, on the edge of our seat, ready to just, fire everyone into the sun. But at the end of the day, as much as we hate it.
Well, you have.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I've actually stayed a little patient this year, all things considered, knowing how ridiculous I can be. But I understand fans' frustrations. But at the end of the day, today is a perfect example of why everyone just needed to stay patient. And that's not the popular answer. The popular answer is fire everyone, bench everyone, cut everyone. But this team needed time to come together, make things work, chemistry on the offensive line, understanding your personnel, understanding how you want to call plays. Okay, yeah, it seems so simple. Roschon Johnson on the goal line, Eureka, DeAndre Swift in space, DJ Moore, get him the ball in the end zone. These things sound simplistic, but at the end of the day, it takes time to form that chemistry, and the Bears are starting to do that. So now we put everything behind us the first 3 weeks. You look ahead to the Carolina Panthers, Jacksonville Jaguars, and now we've got a team that can compete with this defense that can certainly hold serve.
So let's do the salute arounds here to the, Doug Kramer, you're the man. DeAndre Swift, you're the man. And I'm seeing it all over the chat.
The salute arounds?
The salute arounds. I just created a salute around. I am looking at the numbers. Have you looked at the numbers yet? Have you looked at the numbers, Hoge?
I've looked at a lot of numbers. I don't know what numbers you're talking about.
I'm looking at, so he punted 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
How many yards do you think he had in his 5 punts? 5 times 50 would be 250, just to give you a barometer, Bragg. So do you think he averaged 50 yards a punt?
263.
263.
275.
277 is the answer. Hoge wins the game. 55.4 yards per punt.
Okay.
3 inside the 20. There was 1 touchback, and he also booted. His long was 66 Tory Taylor booming yards. That dude had a day. And for everybody who's yelling at me, because I said don't draft a punter in the 4th round. I mean, we do have some other things.
Keep yelling at him, too. Just keep yelling at him.
Bring him on. Bring him on. Bring him on. Because I was worried about other needs the Bears had, which they still have. But he had an incredible day, and I enjoyed watching him, and I'm enjoying the hate. And we might as well throw in the big Super Money chat here.
Yeah, we can do our big money super chat right away, because this is an epic one. We have Doug Kramer eats Carm.
Can you guys see the photo?
Yeah, it's
Doug Kramer eating Carm.
That's got to be.
It's a giant Doug Kramer, like almost like the Marshmallow Man in Ghostbusters, eating Mark Carman.
The super chat says, I believe you're asking me on Thursday, Cram. Get in my belly. I eat pieces of crap like you for breakfast. JK, love you, Carm. Bear down. Season back on. Punting is winning. FGB, 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 FGB.
Thank you, Doug Kramer eats Carm me. I'm assuming that's Big Cram's new one, but maybe it's not.
I'm surprised it's not Doug Kramer eats Cram.
Yeah. Well, I've been saying let's see what Doug Kramer can do at center. But hey, they used him at fullback today, so that's amazing. This was a huge step forward today for the Shane Waldrons and company.
And we got to credit to Caleb too. I mean, there were some big time throws late in that game. The touchdown throw to DJ Moore. When I was talking about Waldron earlier, I knew there was something in my head I was trying to get to. He gets credit for somehow getting DJ Moore lined up on a linebacker on that play. I mean, I can't wait to see the all 22 on it and figure out exactly how that happened. But Moore was like, he was in the slot, but he seemed like even farther inside, and had another receiver to the outside. They somehow, and I believe Cole Kmet was to his outside too. So it's almost like they switched Kmet with Moore with how they had him aligned, and the defense, instead of switching, just kept the linebacker on DJ Moore. And I'll tell you what, that backer still covered Caleb Moore pretty well on that play.
He did.
Caleb just put a perfect pass over the top, and DJ Moore, who earlier on that same drive left the field, seemed to be banged up, made a big-time play. I want to talk a little bit more about DJ Moore a little bit later on, but then Caleb also had that really nice throw to Cole Kmet over the linebacker. I believe that was the next drive.
That was a dot.
Those were some big-time throws from the starting quarterback.
Well, and there were times during the game where you were like, man, get out of the pocket. It's collapsing on you. But that touchdown to DJ Moore is a reason why he doesn't want to get out of the pocket. Watching him work through his progressions, is a fabulous thing to watch as a Bears fan, not being used to that kind of quarterback play and accuracy in the pocket. And DJ Moore and him needed it, man. Like, there was some frustration mounting, visible the last few games. Then you see it on the sidelines. There's some fans at the stadium that were making note of it. So I'm very happy that they were able to find that connection for that touchdown, because you can feel the frustration building, and at the end of the day, to be able to hit that is exactly what the doctor ordered.
Those two still have a long way to go in their chemistry. Imagine if they get there, what that would look like.
All right, got to hit our first break of the show. We got a lot more coming up on Caleb next in our franchise focus. But first, Circa Sportsbook. Whether it's pro or college, the app to bet football is Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season. Spreads, props, futures, or in-game, Circa Sports has it. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's good to make some money today on Circa. If you need some flooring, Empire Today is your place. Shop at home. Convenience, the right product for your needs. Quick and professional installation and a low price guarantee. It's the best place to get new flooring. There are some copycats out there. They're going to try to tell you that it's cheaper, and it might be, but you're not going to get beaten on quality, service, speed, the things that are going to matter to you the most. Shopping for floors at the big box store, that's a frustrating experience, or at least it can be. You might talk to someone today who was working in plumbing yesterday, don't really know their thing. Flooring is what Empire Today does. They live it, they breathe it, they do it. So you can be confident you're getting the honest, upfront advice that you want. So listen, schedule free in-home estimate today. All listeners, you get $350 off when you use the promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/CHGO for details.
All right. We got our franchise focus coming up next. And, of course, Briggs and Brown, Lance Briggs, Alex Brown in studio here at CHGO. They will join us in the next segment and as well. But let's talk a little bit about the quarterback and what he did today. No turnovers, first and foremost. Yeah, our franchise focus. We talked a lot about on the pregame the turnover battle, and Bears did win the turnover battle 2-0 today, adding that interception late to seal the game. But Caleb finishes 17 of 23, 157 passing yards, so not quite as many as we were talking about pregame. So it's not like he lit up the scoreboard today from a passing perspective, but he was more efficient. Did get sacked 3 times. I think we're far from having things solved up front on that offensive line right now, to say the least. Pre-snap penalties continue to be a problem. I think at least one of those sacks was probably on Caleb for not recognizing the hot was coming where his hot read was, and it looked like that one that came right through, I want to say it was the B gap or the A gap, to that left side. That just, not knowing anything, seemed like that was probably on the quarterback. So still a rookie quarterback, but when you don't turn the ball over, you have a good defense. They got the running game going today, and you could still make the clutch throws we were just talking about. That's still a formula for winning and beating a team like the Rams today.
Well, if you go back to training camp, like what we saw a ton was DeAndre Swift getting the ball out of the backfield. And today we saw him get 7 catches for 72 yards. And that is taking the pressure off the quarterback. And what Caleb has talked about is he doesn't need to be the guy, but to use everything around him, which was the whole point of this season, trying to make it as soft a landing as possible. We know it hasn't been the softest with the offensive line play, but today you had a better run game. You had more guys catching the football. You were using the running back. And, to Caleb himself, we already mentioned the Cole throw, which was great. The DJ Moore throw for a touchdown was sweet. There were still some errant balls to DJ where at least for myself, I was scratching my head. How was it that off? So those guys got to get together better. But, I don't think anybody watches Caleb and doesn't think that's going to come. So I thought a huge step forward for him. And what I think I liked the most was some big smiles out there. Like the DJ catch, he's running in the end zone. He's so happy. He's patting him on the head. It just seemed like a guy really enjoying his life today, which is, of course, he should as a rookie in the NFL. But it was fun to see.
The numbers aren't going to blow you away, right? I mean, he threw for 363 yards last week, and we celebrated that with the understanding of the context behind it. Today, he only throws for 157 yards, but no turnovers.
And he completed 74% of his passes.
Exactly.
It's huge.
Exactly. 17 of 23. Efficient. Spreading the ball out. 5 different receivers, but 4 with 3 catches or more. Yeah. To your point, DeAndre Swift averaging 10 yards a catch. So finding your safety net, finding your emergency route to dump it off to, that's exactly what the doctor ordered. And overall, for me, the thing that stood out the most was his poise. Even when the pocket is collapsing, Caleb Williams remains poised. There never is a moment to me that the moment looks too big for him. He might take a sack, he might miss a read, he might miss a throw, but he doesn't look nervous in the pocket. The better they can continue to create a pocket for him, the more he's going to develop into a dynamic quarterback, and I'm excited to see that.
The scary moments are when he's in that pocket, right, and you see it collapsing, he's not moving, and, he took a huge crack to the head today. Some good hits to the shoulder, some just good hits, period.
I didn't like when he was on the bike.
Right, and then, he had them,
went into the tent,
ends up on the bike. He did look good on the bike. That was some good Peloton extravaganza.
Well,
right
they've
there.
gotten a lot of experience in training camp.
Yeah,
on those bikes.
Well, Bears are great on the bike, especially during training camp. But when his head hits the Peloton, I think he's got to feel pretty good about everything that happened today.
Well, and the other thing about the 17 to 23, efficient, yes, but within the context of how he got there, they had a lot of dropbacks where you're thinking, okay, here they're dialing up the big play, and they just weren't able to hit it. But he didn't force it. And he always was taking that check down that was getting him first downs. There was a couple times he got it, then it was called back on like a hold or an illegal motion or whatever. But at the end of the day, what he's reading is high to low and then taking what the defense gives him. In his 4th game as a quarterback, and you're watching the progression here through these 4 games, you're seeing a lot of maturity for a rookie quarterback.
Go ahead.
Yes, it's been
4 games?
Yeah, but it's been 4 games, but also like in a good way. It's been 4 games. Like we're seeing maturity. We're seeing rookie mistakes. I I guarantee you some of those pre-snap penalties, even if you say, Cole Kmet, you can't like go in motion and then explode forward too early. Like, I'm still guessing something in there probably has to do with the fact that it's a rookie quarterback.
Well, it's one of the other between the two on whose fault specifically on that play was.
Cole's not the type to have 2 false starts in a game.
Yeah, but regardless, but that's the overall point I'm making. Is it's like somewhere, and Mark Sanchez was making this point during the broadcast. He's like, the pre-snap penalties, like that's part of the quarterback's job. Like, you have to accept responsibility for that at some point, whether it's when it's become a problem, which it's obviously been. And we spent so much time about cadences and the OTAs. It started up again when training camp started, and now we're seeing it carry over to the games. We should not be surprised by that. But I'm not bringing all that up to, like, kill the guy over it. These are the types of things that you can live with to a point as long as it gets better. Okay, so I deem blitzers, pre-snap penalties. These are going to happen when you're a rookie quarterback in the NFL. But if you can keep it within reason, learn from all the stuff, and most importantly, have a high completion percentage and not turn the ball over along the way, you're still going to have a chance to win football games.
Especially with this defense, right?
Well,
yes, and the greatest punter of all time.
And the greatest I mean, seriously, though. I mean, like, that's...
Of all time.
Yeah, I mean, that's settled through 4 weeks, right?
I mean...
But still, ball control, ball possession, field position, those are the things that are going to equal the Bears on top more times than not, especially here in the first half of the season. That's what made last week so disappointing. Are the Rams some great team they just beat? No. They play the Panthers next week. Not a great team. Play the Jaguars the week after that. Not a great team. Okay, you can only play who's on your schedule. But when you play this kind of football today, this was a winning recipe. The way they played down the stretch, the way they ran the ball for first downs, that's how you win games here in the NFL, not putting everything on your quarterback to throw 53 times.
Well, another thing with the quarterback today, first of all, the penalties, 10 for 84. So that's a lot.
That's not winning football.
That's not winning football. They had to get through that, and I'd have to look at the exact numbers as far as how many those yards were on offense. But whatever it was too many. You also had Tevin Jenkins going out with a rib injury, so you had to bring Nate Davis in, move Pryor over, and Pryor actually looked fine out there. I wouldn't say elite. I gotta watch the game again and see, really focus in on him to get a better feel. But you never want to lose Tevin. But and it's just another challenge, of course, for the rookie quarterback. Shifts on the offensive line. He had to deal with that today too, and they got through it.
Yeah, I mean, without having watched the tape, I did find it interesting. Tevin Jenkins went out early second quarter. Nate Davis came back in. You had Matt Pryor move over to the left side. It might have been a complete coincidence, but run game started to get going.
I know.
It was weird.
KQ in the chat saying, running game still sucks, Braggs. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, KQ? DeAndre Swift ran for 16 carries for 93 yards, a 6 yards per carry average and a touchdown. Roshan Johnson, 3.7 yards per carry and a touchdown. They ran. They got into a jumbo package.
I just want to say, which is a little unfair to him.
What are you talking about?
It's a little unfair, even the 3.7, because a lot of those were in short yardage situations too, which is going to bring down your average. Well, when you have a 1 yard touchdown run, the most yards you can gain on that play is 1.
Hat on a head. They ran that jumbo package for the touchdown on the goal line. Then they had to run it again on 3rd and 1, a big first down that they needed, and they got it. They're telling them, we're running this. You go ahead and try and stop us. And they went and got it. That's an attitude first down.
I actually want to give Carman some credit. He knew that Doug Kramer should be involved somehow. He just didn't know the right position.
That's right. That's right. Well,
now, if you had the take that they should line up Doug Kramer as the fullback and then they actually did it.
I didn't want to take that one from you guys, so I was waiting for somebody else to grab it in the pregame. Nobody did, so I'll celebrate it now because I don't want to put myself in front of you because you're both such good friends of mine and football geniuses that I didn't want to, be that guy.
Very humble of you.
Thank you.
It's a new Carm.
Yeah. The Tevin thing, if I may, he just hasn't looked like himself. Like, Tevin used to be a guy that he'd throw you into the third row of all the way off the sidelines. The guy was so physical. He just hasn't looked like that in a long time. So it makes me wonder, and he's trying his best to stay on the field, but that neck injury was really violent. And to me, he just has not looked like the same player since. I still think he can be capable, but I think you can look at it and say, was Pryor better than him? I mean, maybe he was.
I wonder. Yeah, and a lot of people point out Herbert didn't get a carry in this game.
No love for Khalil. And I'm a big Khalil guy, but Roschon played well today. I thought that was one of the better games that Roschon's ever had.
Which is another thing I want to give him credit for. Like, they recognize what everybody else saw. It shouldn't be that hard, but Roschon had a good game last week. It's like, all right, well, let's get him the ball more.
When they had to have it late on a 3rd and short, he was stopped or could have been stopped behind the line of scrimmage, and he broke an arm tackle, which is something that DeAndre Swift has not been doing.
Let's get to another big money super chat. Maybe even sneak in a couple here because I know
there's
we
some
got
good ones here.
I know we got some big ones. Let's start with Crystal, who was at the tailgate this morning.
At the stadium, too.
She got her ticket. She went in there. She had good seats. And now she's following up after the show. $100 super chat just saying bear down. Crystal was...
We nearly lost Crystal today. We nearly lost her.
Why?
She was upset after last week. So
she was having a tough first half, too. Tough first half for Crystal.
Oh, well, then Herb Howard didn't show up to the tailgate.
Yeah, we actually need confirmation that he was at the game because he was missing pregame, too. So we'll have to double check on that one.
Okay. Yeah.
And then Carrie Huss.
I think he did a double Huss. It's a double Huss. Double Huss. Feeling that win on a Sunday. Huss. What do we got?
Now, that's what I'm talking about. Finally, run game. Offensive line penalties made me want to pull my hair out.
Yep.
Caleb, efficient and got it done with no picks.
Yep.
A solid win. Bear down.
Solid super by Huss. What was the other Huss?
And another $100 from Huss, so a total of $200. Brisker had a killer game. Dude's a beast. And I think it should be noted, Carm. Torrey helped win this game.
Oh, it's been noted, Huss. It is well noted. He did, man. He absolutely did.
The one thing I'll add, because everything kind of, you look back to what just happened in the second half and you get excited how they won the game. But just like the Colts game, same thing. They got to get going in the first half. 4 games in their first quarter, they have a total of 3 points in 4 games. So at some point, they got to start setting the tone early to try to get into more of their offense, early on. It's taking way too long for this team to get going, and you're leaning way too hard on your defense for that to happen.
Yeah, and, it's interesting because I was talking to a Seahawks friend of mine on Friday, and he was actually – what surprised me was he was saying that Waldron's reputation in Seattle was for having an amazing first 15, and, they'd always score early, but then – the other team would make adjustments and they couldn't adjust back. That reminds me more of the Luke Getsy offense because it seemed like the Bears would always have a good first drive. And then it's been the opposite so far is the Bears with Waldron here have struggled to get going on their first drive and then have been better in the second half.
He's finding his way, baby. Let's go, Shane Waldron.
And so is the rookie quarterback too. I mean, that's part of it, right?
Yes. But, it was ugly for 3 weeks. But week 4 – positive steps. Briggs and Brown, the full show coming up at 5, but the live show on this show is coming up right now. So just hang tight for that. But first, let me tell you about our friends at Sunnyside. What is Sunnyside? Well, it'd be a great place for you to have a little celebration today. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore and discover and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. They've got everything you need to elevate your fall. And look, this is the good stuff here. You've got Mindy's, the James Beard Award-winning Chef Mindy Siegel and Cresco Labs, the best-tasting gummies and chocolate edibles. Straight delicious. Good news. Created for great moments like this with the crew. Cresco, delivering the consistent quality experience and availability. They've got every flavor that you need to get yourself to the next level. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. That's right, 50% off your first 3. Use the promo code HICHGO. Use that at checkout to qualify. Exclusions do apply. Sunnyside, cannabis dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 and over or Illinois medical card holders.
And we are driven by the search for better. Of course, especially in this city when it comes to offense and quarterbacks and things like that, always looking for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match. with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/AllCity. Just go to Indeed.com/AllCity right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/AllCity. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. All right. Keeping things rolling here on the CHGO Bears Postgame Show. Time for our segment with Alex Brown and Lance Briggs. What's up, guys?
What's up, baby?
Yes.
So I know we have kind of a low standard here for offensive
Slightly.
coordinator and quarterback play, but I do want to start there. Just what do you guys think about the adjustments, perhaps learning from some mistakes last week that Shane Waldron made?
I'll tell you what I loved, because over the last couple of years we've been saying, hey, we need to really run the ball. We need to run the ball. We need to run the ball. Mm-hmm. And to the point where it was like, hey, we need to get into I formation and run the ball. I didn't recognize the Bears today. All right? I didn't recognize them. It did
13 personnel and everything.
Yeah. Right. And I look at it this way. I look at it, when Alex and I were growing up, our parents only had to say it one time.
That's it.
All right, at one time. And you know what I mean?
Yes.
Real quick.
Yep.
All right? In our generation, we might say it twice. All right, we're going to say it 2 times. All right, didn't I tell you? Hey, listen, don't make me say it again. I feel like this is in the new generation. You just got to say it twice.
I did like that. Exactly what Lance is talking about. I like that when it's time to get a yard, when it's time to get 2 yards, when it's short yardage situations, you bring in the bigger guys. You bring in guys that can roll grade, and it was good to see a change. Yes. It's terrible to see that Jenkins go down, right. But to see that change, to bring in Pryor, and from the get-go, hey, we're going to get him involved. We're going to run the ball. Let's go. And it's just setting a tone. You set a tone, and it's strange because you can do that. So why didn't you do it last week against Indy? Like this. But I ain't gonna backtrack.
Come on now.
I ain't gonna backtrack.
Don't dwell.
I'm just saying, like
Waldron, we're always thinking forward, just forward, not about last week. Just gotta go forward.
Exactly. Yeah. So I like what I saw. I'm glad Roschon got some run out there. I think he is a different pace. He runs through arm tackles. Yeah. Swift had a hell of a day.
You don't like the Swifties? Are you a Swiftie now?
Bruh.
Come on, we're Swifties.
No.
Ah,
I'm going to need more than I can't see
8
3.
million.
I can't see 3. I can't see 3 horrible games and then see 1 great game, and now I'm on board. I need to see some consistency. I like – you know what happened?
What happened?
They put Roschon in there. Shit, he picked it up.
Yeah, he lit a fire.
He picked it up. This is what we got to do.
But for real, my criticism of his, and I'm sure it's been your guys' too, with Swift, is just like it doesn't seem like it takes a lot to get him down. Mm-hmm. On that touchdown run, I mean, Cole Kmet blasted that guy, but he ended up right in his running lane, and he managed to get over him. So I got to give him some credit.
Yeah. He showed a lot of athleticism on that play, and then a burst to get to the end zone. That was a hell of a play. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if we have – I don't think we have another back that could make that play. I think he is the guy. He is the guy that can make that play.
Well, he better be for the contract they get.
Hey, the contract is the contract.
I agree with you. Listen. I'm a Swiftie now.
I've been a Swiftie now.
But I've watched him. I watched him when he was in Philly. I watched him before he got here, and I know what he's capable of.
You know, he went to Georgia.
That's fine. Georgia got beat.
No. Like that's why I can't be up here talking about I'm a Swiftie. I can't.
Oh, that's true.
But you loved our old DN. That was your favorite guy.
Which guy?
Your favorite guy.
You stop it. Leonard.
He loves some Leonard. That was your guy.
Leonard. Hey, you know what? Shout out to old Leonard, man. Leonard Floyd has put together one hell of a career, and it didn't start out that way here in Chicago. So congrats to him. Keep grinding, keep pushing through, no matter what. But what a win for the Bears, man.
Absolutely.
Let's take that. Come on, we're taking that.
Yeah, let's talk about that defense. What do you got, Lance?
The one thing I would say is what I really loved about today is this phrase, do what you have to do so that you can do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Love it.
That may not be what Waldron wants to do, but right now, with a new quarterback and a lot of new players, do what we have to do right now. And eventually we'll get to the point where we can do what we want to do.
Do we understand, like, nothing really matters right now? Like, not really. Like, truly, like, I want 18 to just get better and better. I don't give a damn if we win or not. You know what I mean? It truly, like, it'd be great if we can win while he's getting better. But the point of it is for him to keep getting better and better and better. And by the time we're at week 10, he is way more comfortable. Or even the beginning of next year, we're coming in and we're seeing him be a completely different guy by taking a step forward, right? So that's the point. Because we're not on a 1-year deal with him.
Or we've also put other pieces in there.
Correct. True.
Where it's like, okay, these pieces are fitting much better. Now we have a different type of protection set. We have all these weapons still. Okay, there's different things that we can do now than what we had to do last year.
Yes. I don't like him getting smoked, man. I just – Jared Verse, I watched this kid when he was at Florida State.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He's an all right player. I watched this kid at Florida State, and it wasn't even close. We need a left tackle.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's what we need. We need a left tackle. We can't put our left tackle on their pass rusher, which is what you're going to get as a left tackle. If we can't do that, we are in trouble. It's not going to work.
Well, that's what still has me worried, guys, is like this offensive line. This was far from clean today.
Oh, no doubt.
And Caleb, you don't ever want to see your franchise quarterback, number 1 overall pick, in the medical tent and then getting out of the tent, sitting on a bike in the second quarter. Like, I don't know what that was all about. They probably won't even tell us, but he seemed to be battling through something early. Now, credit to him for, finishing the game and being fine, but this is going to – you guys know this. When you're going after the passer – you want those hits to add up. Oh, I'm worried about how much these hits are already starting to add up through 4 games.
It's funny. TM said Braxton Jones couldn't press a grilled cheese sandwich. I just had a grilled cheese sandwich. That something was good.
I bet it was.
God, it was so good. My bad. All right, my bad. God dang, that joke was good.
You're right.
Where's it from? What's the name of the place? I know I'm gonna get it.
Black Barrel Grill, Black Barrel Tavern.
Black Barrel Tavern. Appreciate y'all. That thing, I had to pay for it. That's cool. But I'm just saying, that grilled cheese is good though. Next time, I hope I ain't gotta pay for that. Go ahead, my bad.
Well, what's that?
Adam. I agree. It's there's still protection breakdowns. That's obviously not going to change. They brought 5 on a specific play, and the play crumbled from the very beginning. The thing that does concern me from the number 1 pick, Caleb had 2 overthrown balls into the end zone, one to Odunze and one to DJ Moore.
Which again, they didn't seem like they were on the same page.
Right.
Yeah.
And so this is we're week 4 now. All right. Now I've gone through week 1 and said, okay, that was week 1. All right, number 2. But from a number 1 pick, these type of throws are the throws that when you pick number 1, these are the throws that I'm supposed to see you thread the needle. It's supposed to fit where it's supposed to fit.
Yeah. And Alex, I want to ask you about this because we were sort of talking about this during the game a little bit. I'm glad it ended with a DJ Moore touchdown, and maybe that'll get those guys going a little bit. And that was a good kind of thread the needle over the linebacker type of throw. But leading up to that, I don't really know what's going on with DJ Moore. There were some videos even coming from the stadium today where he was off to his side, sitting by himself on that bench.
Yep.
And some of the body language stuff. I don't know what to make of that, but we were sort of talking about this in game. What did you think about that?
I don't know DJ Moore enough to know if that means something or if he's just allowing his feelings to show, right? Because that's okay. Yeah. It's okay. If your feelings show, that's fine. But I don't want my $100 million now. Like in a perfect world, I don't want my $100 million receiver showing up my number 1 pick quarterback. I don't want that. I want them to work this out in practice. I want them to get this thing right, get on the same page. If I'm a receiver and my damn quarterback keep overthrowing me, hey, my my feelings gonna be right there on my shoulder. I'm gonna show him. So I need you to do your job, so I can do my job. Because they pay me $100 million. I'm beating this corner. I'm running 2 yards in front of him, and you can't put the ball on me. I need you to do it. So that's it.
Adam, it's not that hard to figure out. It's really not, all right? Because there were overthrows last year.
Yep.
Justin had overthrows. There were bad throws. There were this and that, whatever it was. You never saw that from him on the sideline. You've never seen that from him on the sideline. So when you see either a miscommunication, a bad ball, or overthrow here, the way that his body language speaks is he's upset about something this year that he wasn't upset about last year.
Wrong. Wrong. Nope, don't do that. Nope, because he was looking for that contract last year. He gonna keep quiet. Now he done got that $100 million. He can say whatever the hell he want. Come on now.
That's like Brandon Ayuk. Did you see Brandon Ayuk this week whining about his shorts? Because he had the wrong shorts on, and Kyle Shanahan was like, put the right shorts on.
Yes.
He's like,
Boy, he was a model citizen before. A model citizen. Got that big deal?
You are a lie and your breath stinks, okay?
He was a model citizen, and now he got that big check, boy. Couldn't tell him nothing.
It took a little bit longer to get that check. I'll tell you that.
Yes, too long, actually. Too long. No, I hope they're able to work that out, because I don't like seeing it, because it makes us, media, people outside of that locker room, start to think there's something there, right? So I hope it doesn't work. But have we ever seen? I saw Aaron Rodgers go after a receiver because he didn't run the right route. You know, like this stuff happens. Like it happens.
You've seen Tom Brady do it. You've seen Peyton do it. The best do it.
I've seen people do it. So you get mad.
Yeah, but get mad. But the opposite way, where it's like the veteran wide receiver with the young quarterback, I feel like it doesn't go as well as like the veteran quarterback,
because you're not used to it. It's usually the other way around. That could be the play too. That to me makes more sense than probably anything that me and Alex are probably arguing about in the short sense. You know, you have the veteran wide receiver that's saying, "Listen, guy, come on," coming down on the quarterback.
And I'm sorry, there's a lot of players, a lot of coaches that have no interest, no matter who they are, in coaching a rookie quarterback. So I understand some of the frustration, because even if Justin wasn't, the greatest quarterback in the league, by last year he had some experience.
Yeah.
And now you're dealing with a whole different animal with a rookie, even if he is talented. So I do understand that there's got to be sort of a grace period, even with some of these players working some of this stuff out.
So now that brings up one of the things that has concerned me in the pregame is the what do they call it, the leader quartet, or the leadership deal.
The 8 captains they have?
The captains that were saying, hey, listen, we want the focal point is to say to, Waldron, hey, listen.
Coach me?
Yeah. Don't be afraid to point us out. If there's an issue, talk about it. Point us out, make us hold us accountable for what we're doing. We want to be coached, and to me, when he makes a statement like that, it makes me feel like he's allowing certain things to slip or to slide, or certain players. And so Mercedes said, I don't care if you're the oldest player or you're the youngest. We all need to be held accountable, if we're going to right this ship.
Maybe I just wasn't good enough. I don't know, because I never reached that level where a coach asked. Well, I got to the point where I was like, hey, coach, I need you. Coach me. Don't worry about, I want you to coach me.
Are you telling me that Lovey never pulled you aside and asked you to do? Lovey, one thing I do know about Lovey, there were times where Lovey he would grab you and he would, a specific player. I don't even know who it is, which guy. I know when he grabbed me and pulled me out of the linebacker room, walked me up to his room, showed me a clip against Atlanta, and said, "What do you think about this play?" I said, "Well, we got beat on a corner route." He said, "What do you think you could have done?" I looked at the play and I started laughing. I'm like, Lovey, that's not my job. I said, that's not my job.
Did you blame me?
I didn't blame you. No. I said we all have to do our job. I have to trust that the DB knows what he's doing. I can't go out of my zone to cover somebody else.
All right. No, Lovey never pulled me to the side. He always do this. He always act like we all should know how Lovey treated the 6-7-time Pro Bowler. I don't know. I don't know how he treated you. I'm not on the NFL ballot Hall of Fame. I'm not on that. Oh. Okay? So I don't know. I wasn't that good. I ain't hit that level yet. So I don't know. That's why when we ask you, we want a good answer because we don't know.
I thought you were saying that you were telling Lovey it's not your job to coach yourself, that you were telling him it's your job to tell me what I could have done. That's what I thought you were going with that. I was like, whoa.
It's a bad explanation. Mm-hmm. I apologize. I'll apologize.
He's big time now. I don't know if he was that big time. That was like 2 people.
No,
he was in that group of like 5.
Whoa, that's bold.
And then there was 2 that was up there, 54 and 57. They probably could say that.
If ever your head coach ever does something like that, that means that we're not playing well.
Yes.
All right.
Correct.
We're not playing well, and we're trying to find answers.
Okay.
Well, to that point, I mean, that was the big thing to take out of this week. I mean, one thing is Mercedes Lewis, 40-year-old veteran. Mm-hmm. He set the record today. Shout out to him, by the way. Most games ever played by a tight end.
Yeah.
So he's in that spot where he can probably say, yeah, I had to tell this guy he might even be older than Shane Waldron, or Waldron might be a couple years.
You're right.
Waldron's probably like 42, 43 or something. So, I mean, that's a sort of a unique situation where he can probably get away with don't be afraid to coach us.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know if everybody can get away with that. Guys, awesome stuff. A lot more to come from these two. When we're done here, right about 5 o'clock, Briggs and Brown for a full show. Part of our awesome CHGO lineup here on Sundays. You can definitely be looking forward to that. So thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. And speaking of CHGO happenings, we had an awesome tailgate this morning. We got tailgates going every single Sunday before home games. You can get all of those events and tickets, all the info for the events and your tickets at allchgo.com/events. And we got 2 trips coming up. If you happen to be going to London, we're reminding everybody this now. You can't sign up for a whole trip, but if you are going to be there, you can still sign up for the individual events or buy the package of all the events we got going on in London. I know a lot of people have those questions. Go to truefantravel.com. Find the Chicago itinerary. It's right there with CHGO. It looks just like that logo that's appearing on your screen.
Somebody get
right
drunk
there
with me.
And you can hang out with us in London. And by the way, right after London, we're turning around a few weeks later and going to Arizona. So go to truefantravel.com. You can still buy the events and things going on with our Arizona trip. That's still available for you, truefantravel.com, as we welcome back into the show, Mark Carman and Greg Braggs Jr. We're going to hear from Matt Eberflus soon as well. I know he was just talking in the media. We will turn that around for you, so no need to go anywhere else to get that. We will be playing that for you here. I just wanted to check in with Greg real quick, because Greg was struggling a little bit during this football game.
Greg was horrible.
I don't think he was horrible.
He was.
He was just he was dark. He was dark there for
supposed to be the ray of sunshine. He was not.
And then on the DeAndre Swift touchdown run, the long run, he just sort of got out of his seat, maybe for the first time all game, sort of exploded. The excitement came back, the love of football, the love of his team.
Oh, good.
And would just take us through your roller coaster of emotions today.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, going into this game, I was dreading it. I picked the Bears to win, and the quote I put in our article was, I have absolutely no evidence this will actually happen. I just picked it on a hope and a prayer because I refused to pick them to lose because I just didn't want any more negativity in my life regarding this team. And I was dreading this game because of last Sunday and the way they lost to a bad Colts team, and understanding that if they fell to 1-3, we're starting to fall down the hole that they fell in last year. So I was dreading this game. And then the first half certainly wasn't helping those manners. And I did get into a dark place that many Bears fans go to. And I just want to have fun watching my football team. That's all I want. We watch, we spend a lot of time, we invest a lot of time in our heart and soul and energy into these teams. And it's supposed to be our escape. And what it turns into is our stress. And it adds to that, to your normal daily life stress, and it ruins your week, and you just want to get to the next game, but you kind of don't. And now that they've won, I get to live a week of bliss and dreams of getting over 500 and maybe dreams of even going on a run. And that's just what one win will do for any Bears fan.
Until Andy Dalton comes to town next week.
Exactly. I mean, right now you enjoy it. Just like a coach would say, we're going to enjoy this one for 12 hours, and then we're on to the Panthers. And, yes, you're 100% right. I mean, Andy Dalton had his opportunity at a revenge game today against the Bengals. Fell short of that, but they certainly gave them all they got. So you know that the Panthers are going to come to town, and Canellis and Dalton, and they understand that the Panthers have become kind of the laughingstock to the Bears with that trade. So they're going to have something to prove. It's at the Bears' house. I like our chances. And I like where this team's going. I like Caleb Williams' development week to week. So I'm feeling good. Let's get on a run here. Let's get to London with a chance to, develop some sort of a winning streak.
Congratulations to you, Greg. And I was kind of playing around, but actually not really. You were. It was actually kind of enjoyable because you were so quiet today. You were just in your own little corner. Although you did not bring enough Diet Pepsi, and that was a disappointment for me.
You've been jacking them off me lately.
Well, not really, but one a week. But I really enjoyed listening to Briggs and Brown. Looking forward to their show coming up at 5. I'm also looking forward to hearing from Flus. But we have to give some love to the defense, Adam Hoge, for a second here. I mean, this is.
Before we do that, can I just ask everybody real quick? We got almost 5,000 people watching the show. Please hit that like button because we should be well over 1,000 likes right now with the amount of people watching the show. So please do that. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button as well as Carm throws flowers at the defense.
Yes, and at Pizzatola, who is my guy I see in the chat, who will take brags on his worst day over me on my best day. That's the loyalty that I appreciate out of you,
Love
Pizzatola.
you, Pizzatola.
That's a good job by you. So, look, we all know as the Bears getting off the ground, you're finding their way on offense, that they were going to have to rely on the defense. And Jaquan Brisker had a day today. Dude was, all over the field, 12 tackles, had a sack, which was sweet. I was worried they were going to call a penalty on it because he went high, but they didn't.
Yeah, I got nervous too, but it was clean.
And it was unblocked, so it wasn't like he shook off 3 offensive linemen to get there, but it was still a great job. And then he gets the pick to seal the game. It was a phenomenal job. He was physical. He had a great sense of where to be, and 9 was big time today. So let's give him some love. And then Montez Sweat, who I think is pretty obvious that he's been dealing with something, he still was able to impact the game when you absolutely had to have it in that first half, when things were really wonky offensively. The strip sack giving the Bears great field position. And I did say at the time, we'll get to Carm's notes in a little while here, that I'll bet a lot of money that they just get a field goal here, but they didn't. They got a huge third down penalty, and then they punched it in the end zone. Sweat started that whole thing. The defense really, once again, set the Bears up for victory today.
Yeah, when you talk about Brisker knowing where he needs to be, I don't know how you guys feel about this because, like we talked about it a little during the game, but that penalty he got for, personal foul on the sidelines, I thought it was a crap call. If you want to make the call and say forward progress has been stopped because you want to protect the player as he's getting spun back, I think it was Kyler Gordon trying to rip at the ball.
I agree.
He was not out of bounds. And so I do not expect any Bears defender to just stop playing. You go after the football. You go after the player. He's still in bounds. You try to knock that ball loose. Those guys, Lance Briggs, Alex Brown, they never gave up on a play on the sidelines ever. And there were many times. I can remember when they beat the Packers in overtime where Briggs and Urlacher chased James Jones down, punched the ball out. You would have never thought that they would have had an opportunity at that football. So Brisker getting that penalty was crap. They should have called forward motion if that's what they were going to call. But it was, or forward progress, I should say. It was a crap call.
So I can you ask those guys that on Briggs and Brown later? Because I would be curious to know how they would have been graded in a moment like that. Because I think if you're going to have the hits principle, there's going to be some what I would call more like hustle penalties, effort penalties that you're going to have to live with as a coaching staff. Where in that moment, I'd much rather have my guy rallying to the football like he did and living with the fact that he got called for a ticky-tack penalty where maybe the guy was like half out of bounds, half inbounds. And I'm not – the biggest thing is that it doesn't matter when you're out of bounds, but I don't even think the whistle had been blown yet either.
The whistle was not blown.
Yeah, which
It did
doesn't
not
really –
call
which,
forward
again,
progress,
if you're out of bounds, you're out of bounds.
I do not believe – if I end up being wrong, I'll eat it. But I do not believe he was out of bounds either.
But even if he was like just barely, my point is he's just barely out of bounds, and you're teaching these guys to rally to the football. So I think you have to, certainly not punish your player for getting a penalty.
And
in that
if we're going to get ticky-tack with this stuff, Swift at one point got tackled to the ground, and then there was what, if we're going to call it same on the line as what Brisker got on a late hit, Swift got a late hit on the ground after being tackled. It was like well after the play had been over. So, I mean, I just think I thought it was crap.
Everybody's saying we should be talking about Torrey Taylor. I mentioned his name 20 times in the first 30 minutes.
But we can keep talking about him. I mean, it really was the Torrey Taylor game.
It was big. I want to hear what Matt Eberflus maybe had to say about Torrey Taylor, as well as many other topics as well. We have Matt Eberflus's press conference for you right here. Here is the Flus after the Bears' 24-18 win.
Good afternoon. Good to see everybody. So I just got out of the locker room with the players, and I just told them how proud I was of them in terms of them, working, partnering with the coaches to improve. I thought we took a big step in that direction this week, improving on offense, defense, and special teams, and you could really see that during the course of the game, the complementary football of us, taking the ball away on defense and then scoring that 7 points down there. That was really huge. And then at the end of the game, you could really feel that all three phases really to seal the deal, on the game. So, you get those stops on defense. The offense really does a great job with the clock at the very end. And then we get that interception. Great punt and pin. The punter was great today. Torrey was awesome. Switching the field several times, using him as a weapon. And he was excellent too. And excited for a couple guys. Swift, had a really nice game today, so I was excited for him. He's been working his tail off. He always stays positive. But again, that's not just him, right? That's the offensive line. Working the double teams, making those holes in front of them, and then the perimeter blocking I thought was really good, much improved, from the first couple weeks. Defense was really good in the red area. They did move the ball some on us, and the guys rose up to the occasion. And then we honored the football. The football was we were two, got two. We ended up not getting the other one. He called out of bounds, but we ended up getting two, and then not giving it away. So when you win that battle, +2 in the turnover margin, you got a good chance for success. But again, really proud of the guys. I guess a really good team victory in there. And at the end, I gave Mercedes Lewis a game ball because that's his 272nd game in the NFL. He's 40 years old and been playing tight end a long time, and so that's a pretty big moment for anybody. But he was a little bit emotional in there, and it was good. It's good to see those guys. But I love the guys in the room. They're passionate. They love each other, and they're a tight group. And as a coach and coaches, the best moment for you is when you have a victory and you get to see those guys smiling in the locker room. So that was good to see. With that, I'll take questions.
Sorry, Matt, what has been the difference with the second half of this team? It seems like for the second week in a row, you all have found a rhythm offensively as opposed to the first half. What has been that driving factor in that happening?
Yeah, I just think it's growth. We have to grow into that. It's like I said, this is we only had a few games together, so I think we're improving every single week. We're addressing the issues that need to be addressed. Early on it was, getting in and out of the huddle and, cadence and making sure we're doing good there. And then it was, distributing the ball to different skill sets. We did that. Now it's running the football. We did a better job with that. So we're just addressing the issues when you're building chemistry and the first time together with a new and a young quarterback. I just think that's just part of growing.
Matt, after all the issues you had last week against the Colts, players and coaches, what are you most satisfied about the way you personally and just this team responded?
Yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're going to respond. Every single week you have issues. Because we won the game, you still have things you need to work on. We're going to look at the tape and, we're going to celebrate this win for 24 hours, and we're going to look at the tape and we're going to, pinpoint things that we need to improve on. And there will be things that we need to improve on all three phases. And we do that every single week. And that's how you grow and get better as a football team.
Matt, the run game was probably the best that you've seen this year. Is there anything specific that contributed to that?
Just hard work. Just hard work. It comes down to fundamentals, right? Alignment, assignment, doing your thing the right way, and basic football. And then you got to move people. And the offensive line did a really good job with that. Today, I thought the runners did a really good job with their demeanor in terms of their pad level and knocking the pile forward. I saw that a lot today, which is good. You get those extra bonus yards. But again, it just comes down to hard work and being determined and being detailed.
How impressed were you with Torrey Taylor's punting abilities today?
Yeah, I see it every day. I see it every week. He's got a couple different sand wedges, I think. So he's pretty good.
Was Doug Creamer having any chance he was going to catch a pass today?
Hey, you never know. You never know. I know he's one of our Chicagoland guys, but I was excited for him. I really was. It was good to see him in there playing fullback. He did a good job reporting when he came in there, so it was good. It was good, and having those downhill plays is always good.
What was the decision to kind of simplify things with the goal line package, bringing Doug in? I know there's a lot of conversation about the goal line situation last week. This week, you guys didn't play no games, went jumbo, brought him in. What was that decision?
Just looking at our players, try to use the whole roster and making sure that we're, always thinking forward, and being productive. And really, my hat's off to the offensive staff, utilizing the people and getting the scheme to do that.
Matt, the Brisker sack coming out of the timeout, anything particular you saw there that made that such a good call? Or
field position played a factor into it for sure because they were there on the plus side. So we wanted to do a good job of knocking them back. We did, but we didn't do a good enough job of keeping them there because they did kick the field goal. But Jaquan was outstanding today. He had that near interception, on the 1 3rd down, and then obviously that big sack, and then the pick at the end. So he really is a passionate guy, and that's why he's one of our first draft picks. That we, it was Kyler and him, and those two guys embody who we want to be as Chicago Bears: passion, tough. Come to work every day, and those guys are workers.
Coach, what are you seeing from that second group of D linemen? You guys bring them in waves, taking them all 4 out, bringing the next 4 in. What do you like about that second group that's got Austin and Chris Williams?
Yeah, you have to do that the way we play because we are full tilt the whole time. So we ask our D linemen to hustle, from the snap all the way to the tackle. And from sideline to sideline, so you have to have guys that can rotate like that. And I thought the D-line guys, Travis, did a nice job of rotating those guys in there because it's all about keeping the guys fresh. We have, Tez and, different guys in there that you want to have fresh, Dex at the end. You want to have those guys fresh so they can really rush the passer. If you get into a situation like that where you need them in a 2-minute drill, they got to be fresh and ready to go. But the rotation helps them do that early in the game.
And Shane Waldron was under fire this week after the Colts game. How do you or what do you think about the way he kind of handled that adversity and responded to it?
Yeah, this is the NFL, right? It's a 1-week league. You win a couple games and you're all that in a bag of chips, and then you lose a couple and you're the other thing. So it's water off a duck's back. You got to make sure that you're focusing on your job, focusing on what you do, and making corrections. Either way, you can't get too high, you can't get too low. You got to be steady. And that's what you got to do as an NFL coach and an NFL player.
Seems like Darrell Taylor was able to make an impact on the interception. He got the QB hit.
Mm-hmm.
How has he been able to help this locker room, especially having less time than the rest of the players?
His energy. The passion he brings, that's why we got him. He got him because he fits right in. When he walked into the room, he was he fit. The way he practices, the way he plays. So he brings it. He just has to learn our system. And he's doing that and doing a really good job with that. And my credit to him. You guys saw the injury report. He was ill for 2 days, and then came in on Friday. And again, Travis Smith and Bing, our defensive line guys, did a heck of a job of getting him ready to play, to execute in the game in a short period of time. And so that's a really good job by the coaches.
Matt, how was Caleb better today than last week?
Yeah. He was better because I thought he looked down the field for the shots, and when they weren't there, he took the checkdowns, and we got a lot of yards on those. So I think that was better for him. Again, he's going to keep improving every single week, but I do think that for him, the operation, the ball, honoring the football, and taking care of the football is the number one job of the quarterback, and he did an excellent job of that today. I know he got sacked 3 times, Okay, we got to clean those things up, albeit protection or route discipline or whatever that might be when we look at the tape. But protecting the football is important. We were +2 today, and the score showed.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, the turnover's huge as usual. And I knew it was going to be hard to get those today, but it always helps at the end of the game when you get a little pressure, get a great punt, then you get that intercept. What was the first? I'm actually forgetting the first takeaway right now.
The first takeaway from Matt Eberflus, the winning coach today, as the Bears improved to 2-2, was that he was complimentary to a lot of people. He called Tory Taylor a weapon. And
the first takeaway of the football game, Carm, that the Bears got
Montez
from the
Sweat
Rams.
strip sack.
Thank you.
I literally just asked you about that 28 minutes ago.
I know. I just was blanking.
Okay.
He
I thought
needed
you were
you.
talking about Flus takeaways because you were coming out of there.
Well, we can do Flus takeaways too. I just was commenting on the last comment that he said, which was the takeaways, which was what it usually comes down to. Yes.
I have a question for you. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
All right. He said at the end there, protecting the football, not turning over the football, and Caleb did a great job of that today. Nobody's going to argue with that. No interceptions, beautiful thing. I do wonder, though, sometimes with the throws to DJ, where it seems to me like he's being extra careful to not put it in a super tight window. At least the touchdown pass that he threw, tight window, beautiful. Defender had his head turned. Somewhat of a high-risk throw, but not really. I thought he just read it well and was willing to take the risk. But there's sometimes where DJ's open and he's way overshooting him. And I wonder if he's trying to be over careful here. It's like sort of being coached that way.
Well, I did think about that on the touchdown. That the touchdown miss, I should call it. The one where they had that disconnect in the end zone. That was an interesting replay, too, because it looked like to me DJ Moore beat his man and then slowed down, which is not necessarily the wrong thing for him to do, because sometimes you want to your variation in speeds and your routes is what keeps you open. So if you beat your guy, that guy's going to go full speed trying to chase you, right? But if you slow back down and then pick it back up again, that's how you keep that space that you've then created. So that's what I think DJ Moore was doing in that moment. So I don't want to kill him for slowing down. But the problem was, and I thought Mark Sanchez did a really good job of showing this when they showed the replay, the safety was coming over the top. So to your point, I think Caleb felt like he had to zip it in there.
He only had so much of a window
to make sure he didn't pick it up. Now, did he maybe throw it a little bit harder than he needed to? Maybe, but so it's a long way of me of agreeing with what you're saying. I think he is being over careful to not throw the turnovers after the last couple of weeks of having 2 interceptions in both of those games. And guess what? I'm okay with that.
Right.
Okay.
I'm okay with it because, that was a huge part of the game or moment in the game, because the Rams just missed a field goal on the other end. This was right before halftime. And I said, as they got that ball back, you have to score points here. I don't care if it's only a field goal. Good teams take advantage of opportunities like this. And so was there a window there to throw a touchdown at DJ Moore? Probably. Did he miss it? Probably. Did they get the 3 points to go into halftime with that? That was huge, and they needed that. So I'm okay with what Caleb's doing right now.
It was a 6-point swing.
Yeah.
Guess what the final score was? 24-18. They won by 6. And so you have the DJ Moore,
it's good
double.
Math.
Yeah.
Greg synergy out of nowhere.
I got you.
Who knew?
I know. I blacked out there. I don't know what happened. So DJ Moore beats him on the double move, slows up, miscommunication. They're trying to figure out their chemistry there. Same thing on the left side of DJ Moore, where they're trying to run a corner route, but DJ Moore's reading the leverage, so he goes post, and Caleb Williams throws to the corner and overthrows it to either it's going to be DJ's ball or nobody's ball. Then you also had on the right side the smoke and throw. They set up the fake screen. They tried to hit Keenan Allen over the top of the end zone. Then DJ was the second man coming, and he tried to fit it in between 2 guys. And each time, to your point, Carm, it doesn't feel like Caleb's throwing with conviction on those throws. He's trying to figure out the right amount of touch where it's not a dangerous ball in terms of an interception. But then on the touchdown, right after all of this, he does throw it with conviction. He finally says, enough's enough. I'm going to put this ball where it needs to be in an NFL window. And so that's where Caleb's development needs to take that next step, where he understands This is how I need to put this ball in right on this guy's hands. Last week he put one right on Rome's hands. It becomes an interception. So you don't want a guy to get gun shy over those things, but at the same time, you want to be cognizant of protecting the football. So there's a balance here, and through 4 games, I think he's handling it well.
My point is that he is a little bit, and I'm not gun shy, might be a little too tall, but he's taking the coaching. He's being careful. He's trying not to cost the Bears football games. He's not trying to be a hero, and to what you said, Hoge, that's fine. But I do think it's just a piece of evidence that of the way he's being coached, the way he's taking to the coaching, and I do think that DJ Moore is getting a little bit frustrated with what's going on out there. I think that's pretty obvious.
I just can't tell if he's frustrated with Caleb or the coach or everything, because I don't think he's the only one frustrated with the coach with some of the stuff that's been happening in these first, let's call it 3 games now, because the 4th game went pretty well. But here's the thing that I've learned about football: when things aren't going well, people get frustrated, including us. So sometimes I laugh at the idea that it's okay for us to talk about when a player is visibly showing signs of being frustrated. It came up in DJ's press conference, I believe, this week too. But it doesn't mean they always need to be criticized for showing their emotions. It's a very emotional game. And when things aren't going well, people get frustrated.
Right, but it's also DJ's a leader on the team.
Well, that gets to what AB was talking about earlier on the show, which was you just don't want to be showing up your quarterback.
Right.
Which I'm not sure he's crossed over into doing.
I don't think so. And whenever I'm around the locker room and those two specifically, it seems to me like they have a very good relationship. And we saw 4 games in, this is obviously still developing, but we saw Caleb celebrating with DJ on the touchdown, and DJ Moore's like the most impossible guy to dislike. He's just such an easygoing, good dude. It's one of the reasons why obviously he's performing great, but it's also why the Bears were willing to make the investment that they made in him, because he is that solid of a guy. So, but my read is that he's just frustrated with where the offense is at right now, and I'm sure a lot of them are.
I want to address a couple things in the comments. By the way, Flus also said he gave the game ball to Mercedes Lewis, 272nd game, most in NFL history for a tight end, passing Jason Witten, which made me think about where the hell did Jason Witten go after that 1 year he called Monday Night Football? And I don't think he calls games anymore. 2 things in the comments. One is I shouldn't be surprised by this, but very weird reaction from some Bears fans trying to talk down what Caleb Williams did today. Your quarterback played well. The Bears won. Be happy.
Right.
That's so hard.
It is.
Well, I mean,
your quarterback played well. The Bears won. Be happy.
But Hoge, I don't even know if this is a post-game show discussion or maybe a topic during the week, but these are bad faith arguments happening with Bears fans. It happened last Sunday you're looking at the passing charts of Jaden Daniels and Justin Fields and Caleb Williams, and you're trying to determine which passing chart is the one you want. You want the one that's all over the field, looks like a Rorschach test, or do you want the one that's half field reads, or do you want the one that's all check down Charlies? Today,
we have the passing chart
right.
actually.
Today we have the passing chart of 17 to 23. Working both sides of the field, not much on the middle of the field, but no passing attempts over 20 yards. So what would you guys rather have? And I know this might seem like a silly question after a win, but Bears fans are asking this because they're worried that Matt Eberflus is going to push him into being way too conservative. And for me, I just want Caleb to take steps each week. And until you see the all 22, at the end of the day, everyone's just having a bad faith argument. So slow down, wait till you see the tape. Then you can determine whether or not he had a perfect game or not. But right now, all that matters is the fact that the Bears won.
Well, what I want to see is, if we can bring that up one more time. So Caleb was 15 of 15 on passes under 15 air yards. That's a very good thing. I know yes, shorter passes should be completed, but they still need to be completed. And we saw Matt Stafford have a few misconnects on shorter passes, a couple that almost looked like they'd be picked off in this football game. There were very few passes in this game. In fact, can you guys remember a single one that you were worried was going to get picked off?
Nope.
Because I don't remember one dangerous throw. And now, would I rather have some of those white dots on that right side of the sideline be completions? Absolutely. But this goes back to what Briggs was just talking about. Like, it's okay. You gotta take care of some of these smaller things first before you can totally get to what you want to be. And by the way, only 2 of 7, I believe, or 2 of 9. 2 of 9 maybe on I don't know, whatever it was, on passes over 15 yards in the air. One of them was the touchdown to DJ Moore too. And by the way, that was a 3rd and 6.
And the other one was a perfect pass up the middle of the field to Cole Kmet over a linebacker's hands. Play action, bang, right down the chute.
That was probably his best throw of the game.
That's an incredible throw that takes accuracy, touch, a little bit of zip. It's a perfect throw by Caleb Williams.
It's his 4th game.
This is what we do, man. We're gonna overanalyze every nuance.
I'm not stopping from analyzing. I'm just, my point is it's his 4th game. He does not need to be throwing haymakers 30 yards all over the field. He needs to be getting his feet on the ground, understanding the offense, moving the ball, and gaining confidence.
Well, you have to show both, right?
Eventually,
right.
He doesn't. Don't sign him up with this offensive line to be sitting back there trying to play hero ball. It makes no sense. So what they did today, the direction that they're moving towards is the correct move. It's not. I don't even think there's even an argument to be had.
Today was winning football. Last week they could not run the ball, so he had to throw 53 times. He threw 3 turnovers, but we applauded him for showing poise, continuing to push the ball downfield, hitting all 3 levels, and doing whatever he had to do to try to keep the Bears in the game. Today, they ran the ball very well. So all he had to do was make sure he managed the game with poise and accuracy, and he did that. So it's every game is a different test for Caleb Williams. Today, they tested him that are you going to take what the defense gives you? And he did that. So he should be applauded for that as well.
Well, let's hear from the quarterback. Mr. Caleb Williams, after his 4th NFL game, his 2nd win of the season as the Bears beat the Rams 24-18.
How's it going, everybody?
Caleb, this seemed to be the 2nd week in a row that the offense seemed to find its rhythm, specifically in the second half.
Yep.
What's been the difference in the first half versus the second half for you all?
Yeah, I think us doing a good job in communicating when we get into the locker room. I think this first half we had a bit more penalties than we wanted to. I think the main thing with that and the execution was the penalties. First half to second half, we were putting ourselves in advantageous positions in the second half and things like that with the sticks and staying ahead of the sticks, and then compared to first half with the flags or with us with negative plays, we didn't do as well compared to the second half, and it shows. I think our work throughout this past week was different than our other weeks before, and I think that goes to our leadership, that goes to our communication, what I've talked about multiple times. I think the growth is there. I think the leadership and the vets that we have around to be able to help lead and get to positions where we want to be, which is obviously on Sundays, winning games. So super excited, super proud of the guys. We're coming out to win.
Caleb, was this a better game for you in terms of decision making than last week?
I would say so. Obviously, when you don't have 2 turnovers. That's the most important thing. When you have a defense like us, you got a punter and a kicker that we have. You not turn the ball over, it goes a long way. You're going to win a lot of games. And so handling myself appropriately last week, understanding ways that I need to get better, and obviously the steady growth throughout the season is extremely important for myself, but also for the team. And so not turn the ball over, decision making and things like that. I would have to say it was a little better.
What about the more subtle decisions you made? I mean, the turnovers are obvious when we see that, but just recognizing what was available to you, like from play to play to play.
Yeah, I would say so. Getting a few more checkdowns. we always talk about how big checkdowns are, especially on third downs and things like that, whether it's third down and long, third down and short, or medium. Being able to steal a third down is kind of what we call it, whether you're running, as a runner, as a scrambler or whatever, or, things like that, or finding a check down and stealing it that way. So, I think we did well with that as a group. C2, split two when you catch it, and the guys did a great job.
We heard a lot about the conversations you guys had with Shane this week.
Yep.
What was your role in this conversation? What was kind of the message you wanted to get across?
Yeah, I think us just, one, when we have turnovers from the defensive side, that we go score, find a way to get points. I think another one was just us being on the same page, us understanding the flow, that we're in. If we're in a flow, let us just stay in that flow, get going. Whether it's the run game, whether it's the pass game. Today, we did kind of both pretty evenly, which is, obviously great at what we want to do every week. But when it's not like that, stay in the flow. If we get drives going with the pass game, sprinkle in a few runs, and we get the game going with a few runs, sprinkle in the pass, and then keep running the ball. So I think that was the main point of emphasis throughout the week, and obviously us just having open communication is most important because, like I said before, us having communication, myself being better with communicating, whether it's game day, throughout the week, or whatever case may be, that I had to be better. And I think, today and throughout the week, as a collective, I think we were all better.
You talk about staying in the flow. In the middle of the game there, y'all kind of went no huddle. What do you like about that operation? Is it some things down for you? Is it less thinking? What do you like about when you guys get in that no huddle?
Yeah, I think when you get no huddle, it doesn't allow the defense to do what they want to do. I think that's the biggest thing with no huddle. If they have whether it's a personnel or a certain front, like here today, they'll this team that we play versus the Rams, they have so many different personnels with their fronts and things like that. So when they get into different things, we want to make sure that we can do our best to exploit it. And so they'll have fronts sometimes where they bring in six big D linemen and things like that is what we call it. So, when they get into moments like that, being able to, open the field up, go with no huddle, get them all tired, and then, spread the ball around. And then when they take them out, run the ball.
On the touchdown to DJ, what was your vantage point on that sequence there? Singled up the linebacker.
Yeah, so it was, I saw the safety running over. There's a bit confusion on the defensive side. But there was a safety over top of Gerald on the left side. Rome took inside release. The backer, I think it was, over Gerald, covered him pretty well. And then I knew that, either they were going to double DJ with that safety running over, or they were going to leave a backer on DJ. And so, when you leave a backer on DJ, that's the matchup that you want and that you wish for throughout games. And so, that's how it happened. I saw it either, like I said, they were going to double DJ, and I was going to throw the route and dispute it out to the route over there on the right side, returning back in, or I was going to hit DJ in the back of the end zone, one-on-one with a backer.
Your numbers would reflect better under pressure and against the blitz. Do you feel more comfortable in what you were seeing out there today?
Yeah, I think overall, I'm getting more comfortable. I've said this recently that I was about 2 or 3 months have been a year out of football, which is crazy to think about. Since my last game, was November 18th before the season, and so I think just getting more in the flow of football, the rhythm throughout the season, the rhythm of the week, just getting more comfortable and being more consistent with myself throughout the week, I think is kind of what I'm feeling. And then, us just building, us communicating, like I said before, building on the things, whether it's good or bad. I think we're doing that well.
Early in the fourth quarter, the 2nd and 10 pass to commit, what led up to pulling the trigger on that for you?
Yeah, so we had a quick play action fake right there. The backer was kind of flat-footed, and it's nice to go against Tremaine every day because that there's not many backers that are going to be 6'6" in the middle of the field and as talented as he is. So, understanding that, the backer stayed flat-footed, just put it to where Cole could get it, throw it over the backer. There was a big void right there reading the backer, and the safeties being wide, reading that. And, Cole made an unbelievable catch.
Caleb, with regard to Shane, he faced a lot of criticism after last week. What do you think he did either this week or today that really made the biggest impact on the offense getting on track a little bit?
I think it's just us being on the same page, and I think that started from the communication throughout the week. Us, like I said, talking about the flow of the game, and when we get in a rhythm, let it go. Things like that. Like today, Swift. I think we ran the ball a couple of times back to back before his I think it was a 40-yard run. So things like that, and then us just all being on the same page, communicating on the sideline, being better at that. I think making those adjustments, understanding and talking and communicating throughout the game, even if it's drives where you feel like like our first drive, we felt like we should have gotten that third down. It didn't happen. Coming to the sideline a little frustrated. Take your time. Everybody come together, collect all these thoughts and things like that. Come together and then communicate from there, and get ready to go back out and win the game.
Caleb, you guys were starting offensive lineman early in the game, and then your offense took off. Was there some kind of galvanizing moment on the sideline or in the huddle that kind of got you guys going, or was it just a circle the wagons moment?
Yeah, I think it's always tough to lose offensive lineman, especially Tevin. He's an unbelievable player and things like that, and I love when that dude's up there blocking for you. Yeah, I think it was just us getting into the flow, us feeling good, us understanding all the hard work that we put throughout the week, the detail work that we put throughout the week, the leadership, the leaders leading, things like that throughout the week, understanding, how big it is to, come out, with a win this week, and get that, momentum going again. And so, I think it's a testament to us as, as a team, our coaches, our players, and our leaders to be able to, when a guy like Tevin goes down, to keep going, it sucks, like I said, but to be able to keep going and get the offense going, it's a testament to, I think, our personality as a team, and us overall. Awesome. The Bears.
Yeah, Bears. Hey,
did you just mock?
No.
Our quarterback?
No, I joined him.
You did one of them
No,
voices.
no. You mock, I joined. So
you just said, I'm going to tee up the flow.
I am going to tee up
your
the
brain just spaced out.
Well, because I was flowing into it. And now
this
we're going to.
This is not flow. This
like
is the
a
opposite
squirrel
of flow.
moment.
No. He ruined the flow. That.
No.
He's week 3 Waldron.
Well,
I'm week 4 Waldron.
I'm going to tee up the flow now because I'm going to quote the great Kevin Nealon and Happy Gilmore because there's a lot of pressure. You got to rise above it. You got to harness in the good
Harness
energy.
the energy,
Yeah.
block out the bad. Harness energy, block bad.
Feel the flow. Feel it.
Exactly.
It's circular.
And I swear, let's bring in Nick right now. Nick,
This
this is a big moment for you. Have you seen Happy Gilmore?
Yes, of course I've seen Happy Gilmore. As you know, I'm a big golf guy now. So
You are a golf guy now. Shout out PXG. I was gonna walk off the set for real if Nick had not seen Happy Gilmore.
Well, save that for the next time Carr messes up the flow.
You've walked off the set many times.
In 3 minutes.
I mean, I remember when somebody walked off the set when I said that Derek Carr was a better quarterback than Justin Fields, and that person was dead
I
right.
like how Nick has to sit through all this
Nick
before
loves
we
sitting,
get to it.
Nick loves sitting through all this. Nick! What'd you learn in the locker room, Nick? Tell us something, Nick.
Well,
I
actually have a specific question I want to ask you about. I know you talked to DJ Moore, and we've talked a little bit about him today on the post game because there was, some people pointed out how he was sitting by himself on the bench, and the body language was a story last week too. And he's a team captain, and then he got hurt for a minute. It looked like he was banged up, and then he's on the receiving end of a touchdown from Caleb Williams. So I'm just curious what DJ Moore had to say in the locker room about Caleb, about his injury, about any of it.
yeah, let's go with the touchdown real quick because he was kind of just describing that play. Said one-on-one with the backer. Caleb placed the ball very well, had a stick route, and just had to keep his feet in bounds. But to be fair, too, DJ has said before that he does like to sit alone on the bench. And it just got magnified, I think, in the Houston Texans game when things weren't, going well. So I think that the whole meltdown thing obviously backtracked that a little bit, but he was super happy in the locker room. Actually, when he was asked the question, what was working well in those back-to-back touchdown drives, he answered the first part of one of the reporter's questions by saying we're just locked in, honed in on the details. And then before he even got to the second question, he's like, I'm just too happy that we won. So he just had to recollect, stop himself, and then continued answering the question. But he said that everything was clicking. And I thought this was a key point in his interview because he said that when like earlier in the week, people were getting called out. They weren't doing stuff correctly. And I think Cole Kmet, he was also saying something very similar to this. And it's just, you don't want to be the one called out in front of your teammates if you're not doing something correctly. So I think there was some accountability being had by members of this offense if they were not doing things correctly. So they didn't want to be on that receiving end of being called out and just being the person that is at fault if a play doesn't go as scripted, as planned, as they could execute on the field.
So did that move along at any point to his chemistry right now with Caleb?
I think, well, obviously seeing on that touchdown throw, I think that takes obviously precision and being in the right place, right time. But one of the other things that he pointed out to for just the offense being, I would say, in sync, especially on those 2 back-to-back touchdown drives, they mentioned the no-huddle offense, you guys. On the 2 drives that had the back-to-back touchdowns, you saw more no-huddle plays happening. And what DJ Moore talked about this, we'll get to Nate Davidson a little bit there, but DJ Moore was asked, did you guys simplify things on offense? And he said kind of, but no. But he said we were just playing fast, and it felt simple because the defense stayed in one type of coverage. And this is the quote that he had. We dictated what they were going to do by using and staying in no huddle or just getting to the ball quickly. So I think that really helped the offense produce what we saw in that second half, especially those 2 back-to-back touchdown drives.
Staying on the offensive side, obviously the offensive line is taking their lumps with injuries and guys getting moved around trying to find their continuity, but the run game certainly got going today. So I'm curious if you had a chance to talk to anybody on the offensive line about how they were able to finally take a step forward in that department.
Yeah, and one of the guys that I actually spoke to was Nate Davis, and I don't know how many Bears fans, want to hear from him, but he had to step in when Tevin went down. You had to fluctuate the offensive line, and I just asked him, like, what's that like, coming off the bench, filling in? He's like, you really don't have any time to really think. You just got to do your job as best as possible. And then I specifically asked him, Greg, about that no-huddle offense. Like, what do you like about it as an offensive lineman? And he said it keeps the defense on the field. They get tired, and you're able to kind of surprise them because as a defense, they're trying to still figure out their schemes, and you can just get a jump on them that way. So, and I straight up asked him, like, do you want to see more of this in the offense, more of this no-huddle? And he said it was cool to see it work, so he wasn't opposed to it at all. And if you see similar type of results, I'm sure many members of the offense would like to see something very similar.
Well, Nick, look, there's really only one draft pick from this class that matters. That's why we spent all summer talking about him nonstop.
Karan Amagaji.
Torrey Taylor.
Should have been drafted in the 3rd round over Amagaji.
It's Torrey Taylor. He's the only guy that mattered. And, I have to tell you, I'm actually wearing your shirt right now. You don't know this because you haven't received this shirt yet, but it was actually from Greg to you.
He's wearing your shirt.
And I was supposed to give it to you at House Hall. But
he barely fits in it.
We did not cross paths. It's a little small on me. It's a little tight. But after how this game went, I had to run down to my car and wear it.
I mean, it makes perfect sense because punting is winning. And I think Torrey Taylor had a huge impact in this game. I asked him, what do you prefer, Torrey? Hitting the 66-yard punt or, pinning a team inside the 10? And he's like, big hang time. Yeah, he said, like, no, he's been asked this a lot. It's hitting the deep ball. You get the big hang time. It's hard to do. Definitely the long ones. And then I just followed up, like, when you got a hold of that punt, Torrey, I couldn't even finish my question. He's like, yeah, I knew. It was good straight away. Just didn't want the ball to bounce in the end zone. And again, he was crediting his teammates, saying it'll go down as a 66-yard punt for Torrey Taylor. But, his teammates were the one getting down there and really making sure that ball stayed outside of the end zone. And I also wanted to get his reaction from Hightower. Like, what was he like after Torrey hit that ball? He said, I can't even remember. He helped him. Hightower helped Torrey Taylor a lot this week because Torrey said he had a terrible game last week. So he really needed to get better this week. And I think we saw the results of that in this game in the win today.
Yeah, we need more consistency from the punter. Nick. Did you see? I know you didn't talk to him. Did you see Tevin?
Unbelievable.
He just tries to throw that in there.
He just can't accept the L, Nick. Somewhere we do a lot of shows every single week.
He just said it.
So, somewhere out there is a clip of me telling you shortly after the draft that there would be 1 to 2 games this coming season, that we would be talking about the punter having a huge impact on direct impact on winning the football game. We're 4 weeks in. We got our first game right now.
1.
That's a 1.
Check.
It's 1.
Yeah.
And you're just living in denial. Is what's happening.
Still need help on the offensive line.
Yabba-dabba-do.
Hey, Nick, did you see Tevin Jenkins? I know you didn't talk to him, but did you see him walking around in there?
Yeah, so he was just walking out as we were actually getting into the locker room. Didn't get a chance to talk to him or anything like that, but he was walking out as we were going in. Didn't have anything. Obviously, he was dealing with the rib injuries. That's what he was ruled out with, but walking out under his own power. So we'll have to keep that updated, because obviously he's a huge part of this offensive line. But again, credit to guys like Nate Davis, Matt Pryor switching from right to left, and even though Tevin went down, like, the offense still, put together some drives. So we'll have to see what the update is with him.
Certainly seems like this defense has embraced the Lovie Smith days of bend but don't break. So switching over to the other side of the ball, I feel like we don't talk enough about this defense as well as they've played here these first 4 weeks of the season. Any chance you got to talk to anybody on defense?
Yeah, arguably one of the most important guys on the defense in today's game, Jaquan Brisker. He was asked, a series of questions, but he was asked, like, how rewarding is it when Flus dials up, like, a blitz for you? And the first thing Jaquan says, like, finally, been waiting for that all year. It was a great call, got the sack. And he was also asked, like, a follow-up, like, do you have to be in Eberflus's ear to tell him to do that? And he said, no, not really. He actually advocates for his teammates to go blitz. And we know that Kyler Gordon is someone that benefits a lot from Eberflus's play calling there. So,
did he say anything about the penalty?
He did. He was asked, was it a penalty, first off? And he said, no, it wasn't. Didn't hear the whistle blow. Hit him like I usually would and just made a play. So Jaquan didn't agree with it. He was just, and we know, as we all know, we watch Jaquan Brisker every Sunday. He's someone that plays 110 miles per hour. So if he's not hearing that whistle, he's probably going to give you a hit regardless. So he didn't hear it, and that's why he made the play that he did.
All right, Nick. Anything else before we let you go?
Yeah, just real quickly, I wanted to just talk to Andrew Billings, about playing against an offense that goes no huddle. And he was a guy that went to Baylor, and they ran the no huddle offense there when he was in college. But I just wanted to get his perspective on how difficult it is for a defense to go against offenses that use no huddles, like the Bears did in this win today. But he said that obviously playing at Baylor for a defense, you don't have a chance to catch your breath, don't have a chance to adjust. And he thinks it's very effective, and it just gets guys out of place, out of breath, and said that it's very effective. So if the Bears start sparingly use no huddle on different drives throughout the season, obviously it looked like it was something that Caleb was familiar with, comfortable with, and they had success in this one. Might not be the case every single game, but nice results here in this win on Sunday.
All right. Inside the locker room with Nicholas Moreano. Great stuff.
All right, you guys. See ya.
Yeah. Hoge, quick question.
Loaf by me, by the way, because we didn't do the intro.
No, that was a loaf by me.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
We're just handing out loaves.
Well, I just jumped in because of the Happy Gilmore thing that was going on.
I would just like to also point out, I know I'm not reinventing the wheel with this football thought I had week 1.
Can't wait for this one.
But I mean, you can attest, sitting with me first half of the first game.
You want him to go no huddle.
I was begging for tempo.
You were.
Begging
I
for
was
tempo.
actually going to bring it up so you didn't have to
oh, no, wait.
Home.
I retract everything I just said. Go ahead, Hoge.
I know, Greg, you weren't reinventing the wheel with this football thought week 1.
Go on.
I got to hand it to you because week 1 in the middle of the game, you're on the ball. Get on the ball. Pretty good impression, actually.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah.
No, you wanted the tempo. The tempo worked today.
Mm-hmm.
Tempo's good, and
finished with some really good compliments. My football acumen.
You were like the Bears. You peaked in week 1.
Well, slow down now. I mean, we're peaking right now.
You did a great job.
Yeah,
analyzing football like no one has ever analyzed it. And
look at that human being right there.
There it is.
You were right there with Caleb, who was asking.
That was me when DeAndre Swift broke free for that touchdown. That was definitely that was the moment.
All right, Caleb was asking for, if we're in a flow, let us stay in the flow.
Yeah,
gotta be
in the flow.
And then you're always ruining the flow.
Yeah, great point. We got to get to Carm's notes. We got to get to more supers. There's one quick thing I want to bring up because I keep seeing it in the chat. People have been texting it to me, and I understand why some people forgot. So apparently, Tom Brady said on the game he was broadcasting today that the Bears were the stealth team trying to sign him
in 2020.
In 2020, I realize some people may have forgotten this. This is old news. This has been talked about. It's written about. I even wrote a story about it back in 2020. We knew this, that the Bears were in on Tom Brady back in 2020. They didn't really have a real chance. I know Tom Brady, I guess in the broadcast today, said he was seriously considered. I don't know. I haven't even really seen the clip. But my only point is this wasn't like some new thing. No. It's been out there. I wrote about it before. We talked about it before. Bears didn't get Tom Brady.
He wrote about it. I reported on it on my Braggs and Stan show. My mom and Chubbs were watching.
I'm gonna have a heart attack. Tom Brady, the GOAT.
Yes.
Said on a
That's the new part. Is he's adding.
Right, it's the first time he's on record.
Yes. Said on a broadcast today that was viewed by millions of gazillions that he was considering the Chicago Bears in 2020. Yeah. That was after 2019 when the Bears were still at a chance of being good, and the GOAT wanted to come here, and somehow, some way, he ended up in Tampa Bay where he won his 7th Super Bowl. You could say that you wrote about it and Braggs talked about it on Braggs and his mom, but
whoa.
Yeah, whatever. Braggs in the stands, Braggs in the whatever.
Come on.
That's a big deal, Hoge. The GOAT said it. That's a big deal.
Well, I understand what Tom said, that it was close. I've had people reach out to me since he said that today that said it really wasn't that close.
I'm sure it wasn't that close.
Stories change over the years.
But the point, the reason why it wasn't
like gassing us up right now.
Right, that's what I mean.
He doesn't. Why would he have any reason to do that? The reason why he said it, or the reason why it wasn't close, is because the Bears didn't know how to execute it. They didn't know how to get him.
Right.
But the point is that if they knew how to do it, they would have had him.
And the original report was that he didn't want to stay with cold weather. That he wanted to go south where the weather was warmer. He did that. The other two teams, I believe, were the Bucs and the Saints.
There was a genius at the time who was saying, "Go get Brady," and people were like, "It never happened." Meanwhile, the guy wanted to come here.
Did you just call yourself a genius for saying the Bears should get Tom Brady?
It's the same thing of my genius of saying the Bears should stay in Chicago and play football there, which is not going to happen apparently.
That's not the same thing.
It is the same thing.
No, it's not. It's not. Saying the Bears should get Tom Brady is the most obvious.
The Bears
should get
trade,
zero
the
credit
Bears
for that.
should trade for T.J. Watt.
It's the same.
It's like somebody in New York in the 90s being like, the Knicks should get Michael Jordan.
See, this is where Hoge just gets into his Hogeness. The point is that I thought
people like the Hogeness.
Yeah, that if the Bears had made the right pitch, they could have gotten him. And that people were saying, there's no way you would ever come here. Meanwhile, the dude wanted to come here, and they just couldn't figure out how to make the right pitch.
By the way,
I said that if they made the right pitch, he would come, and apparently if they would have, they could have, but they didn't because they're the Bears, and they won't.
By the way, Mr. H, $5 super chat. I'm not trying to receive all the tea. I didn't report this. I wrote a story on it back in 2020. That's all I'm trying to say. It was widely circulated. A bunch of people wrote about it. The original report, I believe, came from the NFL Network back in 2020, since you're asking me to give the credit out there. And also, I'm going to drink some tea in London in a couple weeks. I can't wait. Actually, a week. We leave a week from Monday.
I know.
Rags leaves a week from right now. He's apparently leaving
right now. I will be leaving in the middle of the post-game show.
Great planning that was.
It was really good planning.
Hoge and I are on the same flight because we're normal people.
Are you?
Yes. It's in the
Have
spreadsheet.
fun with that one, Hoge.
It's in
I
the
didn't know if it was the same exact. I don't know. Probably.
You asked to put it for a spreadsheet of flights, and I put the same flight in.
All right, shut up. Shut up. Now listen to me.
Which I had to get Braggs ask him 3 different times how to put in the correct
Stop asking me. I'll let you know when I show up for work. Now,
I have
going back. Shut up. Now, going back to the Bears, because we haven't talked about this yet. Jervon Dexter, a sack in every game so far this season, correct?
I'm glad you brought it up. Yes.
It seems weird because I don't remember the other ones. Today's was big.
He's had one each game. I remember.
I know. And today was a big one. He forced a field goal.
He flashes every week. he's come a long way. This dude couldn't get off the ball at all last year, and now he's in the backfield consistently. Congratulations to 99. Easy guy to root for.
He has 3 sacks, according to Gary Rappaport.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I thought he had a sack in every game this year. Regardless, he's
counting to 4 has never been a thing that you could do.
Well, I counted to 6 earlier, so
that's true. You did. Congratulations.
Regardless, he's having a great year.
Can you count to 67? The point that I'm making here is, Greg, do you know who Ethan Evans is?
Mm-mm.
Do you know who Ethan Evans is?
No, but I can count to 67.
Ethan Evans is the punter for the LA Rams, who had 1 punt today for 67 yards, which is 12 more than the 55 that Torrey averaged. By the way, Ethan Evans was drafted in the 7th round last year versus Taylor's 4th round. Ethan Evans.
Did you just throw an average with a sample size of 1?
Yeah, I did.
Speaking of math,
I did.
Moron.
Biggest punt of the day, Evans.
Oh my God.
Averaging 67
biggest
yards.
biggest Evans. Okay, take the average out. Biggest punt of the day for Taylor.
You
66.
didn't net that punt, by the way, because the Bears had a great return on that 1 punt.
Ethan,
so you didn't net it either. Now you're using a false argument.
You need
bad
to
faith.
give.
That's what I was going for. That was a horrible bad faith argument.
Faith argument.
You need to give.
He's
Ethan
reading
Evans,
the chat too much. He's learning about these bad faith arguments.
You need to give Ethan Evans his flowers.
He outkicked his coverage on that play, and the Bears had a nice return. You are suspended the rest of the show.
Ethan Evans.
Now you're unsuspended because we got to do Carm's Notes, which is sponsored by Sunnyside. We love Sunnyside. 3,000th week in a row. I don't have that up, even though I did have it up.
Good effort.
I know.
It's all right.
No, I have it right here.
Shop, the greatest place ever. Get your Sunnyside on. They've got 100 plus flavors. It's the most delicious. You get your first 3 orders, you get 50% off. Sunnyside.shop, and they're the proud sponsor.
HICHGO.
I got it. Now, please enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders.
First up is the first play of the game. Remember that formation? They started out in the gun and they moved under center.
2 tight ends in the backfield with a running back behind.
And all of us yelled at the TV.
Right.
We hate that formation.
I was like, that formation I hate. And then they immediately motioned out of it.
Right. Right down the old chute. Then you remember early on there was a Roma Dunze blocking for Cole Kmet. They came up shorter than Adam Hoge. Went right to his Hoge notes and pulled up the play last week where it worked and this week where it didn't. That's what Hoge does for you in the middle of the game. He just pulls up a play just like that, like a special teams coach. That's a leader right there.
I'll talk to Cole about it on Tuesday. I just felt like because the DB got Rome upfield, I felt like Cole needed to cut inside instead of trying to get around to the outside edge.
I don't think that's
so I'll talk to Cole about the technique there.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to tell you.
Jervon Dexter Sr.
I'm going to have a list for Cole on Tuesday.
That'll be great. Jervon, I'm sure you guys will advance your relationship. Jervon Dexter Sr. had another sack in that first half. And, of course, if you remember, the Bears are down 3-0, and Gregory P. Allen brags, the greatest man in my life, said, and there it is, the Bears losing once again. Great start. Bad toss there. Chris Williams was offsides in the second quarter.
Yeah.
It's hard to lose a trade when you give up a 6th-round pick, but to this point, the Bears are losing the Chris Williams trade. That thing hasn't really taken off. Hoge at that point
it was a 7th.
Whatever. Either way, they're losing.
Swap a 6 in the 7th. After.
He got taken off the field when he false started on the made it 1st and 5, and Matt Eberflus looked at him like you would look at a 6-year-old. It was very upsetting. Something's going on. I'm not going to pay attention to that. Okay, great. And so it was at that point in the game that Adam.
At least he caught himself.
Yeah, thank you. It was at that point in the game that Adam Hoge turned to me and anybody else who listened and said, "I'm bored." And it was at that point in the game that Greg Braggs just said out loud to no one, "I want to die."
Those were 2 back-to-back comments.
That was all happening. Yeah. And then we were also having fun with Brisker at that point. People were people on seats, they were a little triggered by the no-fly zone and
by the way, we have to address.
Wait, was my stomach in the shot?
Oh,
Yeah, there was a smudge on the camera. And
we smudged the camera, and you went up to swipe it with your shirt, and you showed off your belly?
Was I in the 3-shot?
There was a moment where a belly briefly appeared on the screen.
Orange Cassidy saw your belly.
I thought they were talking to me. Carm's belly's been showing a lot lately on the shows. But it was
you don't want to see Braggs' belly. That'll horrify you.
Also, before we leave, we should show the replay of what happened on the pregame show.
That's probably true. Yes,
a lot of people miss that.
Yeah, where your fat ass broke the chair.
Okay, speaking of that, it was also at that point in the game where Greg Bragg said that at 9:00 tonight he's going to eat Taco Bell until he dies. That happened, and that was right after Darnell Wright. Darnell Wright was whistled for yet another illegal formation.
Nice check down to Roschon for the first down. Illegal formation.
Yeah.
Just shoot me.
Yeah. That was he was going for the full Taco Bell till death move, which is an interesting one. Let's see. DJ not on the same page at the end of the first half as we wrap it up here. Bears leading 10-6. To the third quarter we go. Let's see. 2nd and goal. Hoge was yelling, "Put Sanborn in." That was before we got the Kramer situation. Also at that point in the time, right after halftime, because we had some great pizza today, I asked Braggs for a Diet Pepsi because he always has his soda. He said he has none left. He just opened one 5 seconds ago. You guys are freaking
You got lied to. By the way, bringing it back to the pregame.
I did.
It's just a flat out disgusting pig of a liar.
I wasn't too far off.
Yeah.
I was saying put Sanborn at fullback.
Yeah, you nailed it.
They put Kramer at fullback. I wasn't that far off.
Yeah. And then we learned about Braggs' mother, who apparently is the Woj for people who died, a bar bomb who died.
Yes, I told the story that my mom always texts me to update me on like who died in our area, and I was like, she's like the Adrian Wojnarowski of like who died from our people we know. So every time she's texting me, I know it's a bar bomb, and I'm like anticipating the worst.
Yeah.
Love you, Mom.
9-yard touchdown, a 9-yard run for DeAndre Swift, and that's when Cody Delmendo was watching the show with us today. CHGO Cubs was kind of wallowing in the fact that he benched him today. Not a great job by Cody.
It's a great sacrifice by him on his part, and he gets all the credit.
Yeah, yeah. 12-play, 74-yard drive, took 6-13, and that's when Greg Braggs reawoke and became a winning Braggs again as the Bears went up 17-9. Caleb jumping into DJ is how I wrote it, and then Carl Williams, Caleb's dad, Greg Braggs Jr. was like, "Very nice, Caleb. Very nice." It was the way it was. You were like a proud parent at that point. So congratulations on your son playing very well.
Phil's saying nice things about me in the chat. Thank you, Phil.
Yeah. Then we had the pre-snap penalty on Cole. We had Caleb not knowing about a hot where he got sacked. We had the 64-yard punt at that point. And then with 6:25 left in the game, Hoge saying, as the Rams got the football, this is not the guy you want to have with the ball. And I think we all agreed. But Matthew Stafford was unable to get it done today.
I'm going to start putting you on a timer for this segment.
No, and that's it. The last one is the Tory fist. The Tory Taylor fist.
Yeah, he was happy.
MJ.
Good for him.
And that'll conclude Carm's notes today.
And then we'll conclude Carm's notes the way we want to, which is by showing what happened on the pregame show earlier this morning. It was a moment etched in CHGO history, and here it is.
Mark, I asked you, like, hey, I'm going to take this picture. What is going on over there? This man,
oh my God,
this man almost fell out of his chair.
That was unbelievable.
We
did it break?
Yes. We broke a chair situation.
I don't think I can move. No, we're going to survive. We're going to survive. We have a broken chair. I'm okay. I'm going to balance.
How did you
It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right.
How?
I can't get up. I can't. We're gonna finish the show. First ever broken chair pregame. I'm an athlete.
Oh, you're watching.
So I'm getting some credit for saving your chair from going the rest of the way over. I don't want the credit. I would like to point out how quickly Steven comes in the shot with another chair.
That was amazing.
That was like you weren't even back upright, and he was in the background with another chair.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Well, what was surprising was you didn't take it. You just wanted to ride it out in the broken chair.
I thought it was going to be too much work, and I was fine. I was balancing.
Too much work. He showed up in 5 seconds with another chair. I don't even know how that was possible. By the way, how did we end up with these? Did we?
Broken chairs over there.
So we were good on the other one.
He fixed the chair. That's what we do around here. We fix chairs. We don't. Some people find problems and they don't find solutions. Not here at CHGO. We find solutions.
Who should we give the dummy chair to, Briggs or Brown? For the Briggs and Brown post.
Out of that one.
I was thinking send it to Pizzatola.
That's not smart. Is that not smart to do?
There's the broken chair right behind me.
Chair. Yeah, it's in the background. We'll have a proper ceremony for it later on. But
we could make people sit in the broken chair for
That's
terrible
what I'm saying.
takes.
Like we gotta.
I think Carm should have to sit in it every day.
I think we could really float that chair around and get creative with it. You will sit in that chair. It needs its own microphone and its own light and its own corner somewhere.
All
We got
right.
to step up our technology.
Well, let's get to our super chats. I know we got a lot. We'll get to our highest one.
While I pull up the first one, Pizzatola did jump in and said, Steven, don't tell them that it was me that sabotaged the chair, which would be the
I knew it was.
most predictable thing. That would be a perfect
First
Pizzatola
he
move.
gets you with the water puddle driving by. Now the chair.
There's a conspiracy theory going on here.
Nice work, Pizzatola. Keep it up.
Yep. We got 9. We'll just call it $100. We'll round up on this one from Zero Demon. It says, Carm, remind me how Taylor was a bad draft choice in the 4th round.
Okay. You're right, Zero. It was a great pick, and Torrey Taylor is a weapon who changed the field. I was wrong. You were right. Hoge was right. Braggs was right. Every Bears fan out there who believed in the pick was right, and I was wrong.
Should have drafted another offensive lineman to develop, even though they don't ever have practice where they hit. Yeah.
And they don't need another offensive lineman. No, the offensive line's great. I think they're in great shape there. No need to redo that in the offseason.
I'm saying in the 4th round.
Yeah, no reason to
developing old linemen. They don't. What are they supposed to get better in OTAs?
How about you draft one that's good that can play, and you can just put him in there?
Well, that's not easy to do in the 4th round. It's the 4th round. That's right. You draft the best punter on the board, and you win a game against the Rams.
All right.
Point Hoge, minus point.
You brought up the guard the other day who's starting
in the 3rd round.
Great. I'll bet you there's one that's starting in the 4th round too.
Mr. H, $50.
You
there might be a balanced. Actually, Tanner Bortolini. Where was he drafted again? He started for the Colts today.
Colts, yeah.
I was screaming for Bortolini in the draft.
all
So
were.
were you.
I wanted a center, number 1 overall. $50 from Mr. H. A balanced dose of the running and passing game is what I expected during week 1 with Caleb. It has finally come to fruition, and it immensely helps out Caleb. That's right. Now's maybe the part of the show that will remind everybody of those stats we showed on the pregame show where the Rams were dead last in pretty much every defensive category.
Let's not think about that.
Our new friend Doug Kramer eats Carm. Adds another $20 here and says, who decides who goes to the podium after the game? The media or the Bears?
Bears.
No, because the podium is always the head coach and the starting quarterback. Unless the quarterback gets hurt, sometimes the backup will come in. Then there's sometimes special circumstances. I remember when Robert Quinn broke Richard Dent's sack record. He came to the podium too. So every once in a while there's and that might be requested by the media or not, but otherwise everyone else is available in the locker room, which is why we send Nick to the locker room for inside the locker room. Solid Angle, $20. Are we a second half team now? Go Bears.
Well, we need to figure out how to be a first half team. But they always seem to play much better as the second half progresses, but only 3 points in the first quarter so far the entire season. Not good enough. That's always putting them behind the 8 ball and always putting a lot of tension and stress on the team and myself, and I'm really mostly worried about that.
You know what kind of team they definitely are, though? They're a team that protects home turf. That's their 7th win in a row at home.
And it's their 10th straight game where the defense has given up 20 points or less. So the defense is really holding serve, and if the
How many in a row?
10 straight games
10
now.
straight games, 20 or less. That's a winning strategy. Winning at home is important, unlike Phil Emery once argued with me over. 7 in a row, that leads the NFL. The Bears lead the NFL right now in most consecutive home wins going back to last season.
That is.
Well, I mean, that's what I mean. Being 1-2 felt like crap, but at the end of the day, it was 2 road games and it was 2 AFC opponents. You take care of your home turf. You take care of your conference and your divisional opponents. Those things are all still on the table. And oh, by the way, you're also welcome to get better and better as the season goes. And good luck to you if the offense continues to develop and play well, because this defense is humming. Last year at this time, the Chicago Bears were 0-4, and we were ready to fire everyone into the sun. This year, the Bears are 2-2. So it's progress. It's not exactly of course, we'd all hope to be 3-1. But hey, 2-2, finish the season the way you did last year. Bring it on.
Do you remember what happened after week 4 last year?
Yes, they played the Commanders on Thursday Night Football, and they played great.
No, but week 4, do you remember the game?
The Broncos, they were down 28. They were up 28-7 and lost.
And then do you remember what happened?
I freaked out.
And did what?
I don't know.
That's when you wore a bag on your head.
Nope, that was the Chiefs game, week 3.
Really?
Yeah.
So I got a missed.
We were already done at the Chiefs game.
I got a missed text on that. Okay.
Yeah, week 3, I wore a bag on my head
All
with the Chiefs.
Throws the texture under the bus.
Also, Briggs. Colts scored 21 points last week. Colts scored 21 points last week.
You know what? Just leave me alone, okay?
Yeah, I was actually just looking it up too. I'm like, wait, didn't the Colts score 21?
I had to sit there and think about that.
Shut up!
Don't worry, that's a new segment we call Brag Stats.
Brag
They
Stats.
may or may not be accurate.
Yeah, but it sounded. I said it. I said it with poise and conviction, so it just sounded accurate. Right. We don't have to question it. Why do we have to research it? If I just say it, roll with it, on to the next take.
Right.
You should run for president.
Dang.
Just let it go. He's rolling. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I like that new segment idea.
Fake
Brag
news.
Stats. They're probably not accurate, but they sound correct.
That's all that matters.
Sponsored by, I don't know.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Okay.
Jeff, $20. Was it sloppy? Yes. Was I close to firing Matt Eberflus in the first quarter? Yes. Was that a great team win with all 3 aspects contributing? Yes. Bear down.
Way to go, Jeff.
That's a good super, Jeff.
You made it through, my friend.
Yeah.
Congratulations. We were right there with you.
Yeah. We got a few more. Again, all your supers appear on the screen throughout the show. We read the highest ones near the end and sometimes throughout with our big money supers. We appreciate all of them, though, equally. Thank you so much. Mr. H, another $5, says, fun fact, we couldn't win a home game in over a year until Bagent took the reins.
I love Tyson Bagent. I can't wait for him to play for somebody other than the Bears.
And we can give Josh McDaniels some credit for that, too, by the way. With that disaster he brought into town.
Yeah.
Raiders last year. All right. Is that going to do it for us? I think it is. We got to get out of here because we got Briggs and Brown coming up next.
We're late.
We are a little bit late. And Greg's already working on his next show.
I literally have been producing the Briggs and Brown show for the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. I think we discussed that, how you're supposed to get
Leave.
off the set.
But then you would have missed me bringing up stats that aren't even true.
That's true. We would have missed that. It's a great point by you. Bears win. We love it. Got a lot coming up here still today. Okay, so Briggs and Brown coming up right now. Separate stream should be available for you on the CHGO channel right now. Go click over to that. Also coming up later tonight, as soon as Sunday Night Football is over, got the All NFL Sunday Huddles. We will recap all the action across the NFL, get some of the national perspective on Caleb as always. So make sure you tune into that. Always love doing that to end the night. And then tomorrow, right back here with Carm and Herb Howard, Alex Brown, and Lance Briggs as we recap all the action. And I usually jump on that show for a little bit, too, with some of the film review as well. So we got a lot of coverage, as always, coming up here on CHGO. Yes, Carm.
Just want to shout out the people at our tailgate today. My guy, Dean. and Shelby and Gabby and Tom coming from the University of Denver. Go DU. James from the UK was incredible today. The International Fan of the Year. That guy was sweet to talk to. James was the man.
He had his Tory Taylor jersey on, and that was a nice job by Tory performing the way he did.
James was awesome. So was Andy from Germany, wearing the Caleb jersey himself. Andy from Germany was sweet. Andrew, Denton, Texas, making it up here. That dude was amazing. Josh from Rolla, Missouri, huge Bears fan. He was awesome. His uncle used to be the head of security. He was a head security guard over at Soldier Field. Jose is the man. So is Brett. So is Kareem and Mike. Those two dudes who have season tickets, who are at our
Mike's family tree.
They were at the draft show. They got the full. What's it called? Those overalls. They were amazing. Kareem and Mike. They're both tax accountants, by the way. Use them for your taxes. They don't look like tax accountants, but they get them done. Eric in Peoria, Dustin from Montana, Colin, my man, all the way from Scotland. He got a CHGO Bears tattoo.
Yeah,
Colin is the man.
Yeah,
shout out.
We'll
to
be
Colin.
showing that this week on the shows because that is amazing.
It was on our social accounts too, I believe.
It's on our social. Colin from Scotland, rocking just got it. While he's been in Chicago for the last,
I was going to say, because we saw him last week.
Right,
he was Josie. He didn't have a tattoo.
He shut down Joe's on Weed Street last week,
and then got the tattoo right after he shut down Joe.
Got the tattoo
same night.
Got the tattoo and was at our tailgate here. Next week, Sunday against the Panthers. Go to allchgo.com/events. Get your tailgate tickets. They're always a blast. No better way to get you ready for kickoff. Whether you're going to the game, whether you're not. Become a diehard, you get a discount on that event.
Connor and Colin, you're the last ones. Come on out to next week. Bears, Panthers, 3-2. Start your day right.
And my guy Brad.
Hassey.
Hassey.
See, I had to meet him in person to get it right. Shout out to Brad. Hey, final shout out of the show goes to Neon Gardens. Thanks for the food today. 2576 North Lincoln Avenue in Lincoln Park. The food was outstanding. Go check them out. And Birdman 24K had a great way to end the show in the comments. Bears win, Packers lose. Let's go, baby. Briggs and Brown are up next right here on CHGO.
We all silly like the mayor.